Now, it's not that obvious of a comparison between these two tablets at first glance, but once you start to look at the specs, I think it will make more sense on why you may want to save your money if deciding between these two. Don't forget to hit that hype button so more people see this video, but let's go ahead and get started. One of the biggest differences between these two is going to be the price, with the Tab A11 Plus starting at only $249 versus $399 for the OnePlus Pad Go 2. Both of these start with 128 gigabytes of storage, but you get 8 gigabytes of RAM with OnePlus versus 6 gigabytes with the Galaxy Tab. You can also go up to 8 gigabytes of RAM for Samsung if you choose the 256 gigabyte version. One advantage you get with the Galaxy Tab is you can use a micro SD card to expand the storage, where you don't have that option with OnePlus. The OnePlus Pad Go 2 is heavier at 597 grams versus 477 for the Tab A11 Plus. When you compare the displays, you will notice how much larger the OnePlus Pad screen is at 12.1 inches at 7:5 aspect ratio versus 16:10 for Samsung. You also have up to 90 Hz refresh rate for the Tab A11 Plus versus 120 Hz on OnePlus. The OnePlus Pad also has an IPS LCD display versus TFT LCD on the Galaxy Tab, and once you put these two next to each other, you can definitely tell a difference on how the OnePlus Pad looks a little brighter, has better viewing angles, and just seems a little more vibrant compared to the Galaxy Tab. Resolution is a little bit higher. OnePlus at 1980 by 2800 versus 1200 by 1920 for Samsung. So if you want the tablet with the better screen quality, you'll want to go with the OnePlus Pad Go 2. Now, when it comes to the battery, the OnePlus Pad Go 2 has a larger 10,050 milliamp hour versus 7,040 milliamp hours for the Galaxy Tab. Surprisingly, when I ran my typical battery drain test at 100% screen brightness, the Galaxy Tab actually lasted longer at 6.5 hours versus 6 hours for OnePlus. But considering the OnePlus Pad Go 2 has a brighter display, once you turn that down, it should last longer than the Galaxy Tab. You also get a little faster charging with OnePlus at 33 watts versus 25 for Samsung. When it comes to software, both of these are on Android 16. They definitely do things a little bit different when it comes to style and functionality, but you'll also notice some similarities like the Edge panel on Samsung where you have shortcuts. There's a very similar feature on OnePlus. You have Google Discover left of the home screen on both of these. On Samsung, you also have the option of Samsung News. I feel like you do get a few extras with Samsung with the taskbar down at the bottom. You also have Samsung DeX to be a little more productive. There's going to be some small differences between the two, but you can do a lot of the same things regardless of which one you go with. One of the best parts, you will get pretty good software support on the OnePlus Pad Go 2 with 5 years software, 6 years security, and you get 7 years of software updates on the Tab A11 Plus. One advantage with OnePlus is you have pen support. It may depend on your location. The stylo actually came with mine at no extra cost, which is nice if you need to draw or take notes. I don't think it's quite as nice as an S Pen, but it's still pretty nice to have, especially considering the A11 Plus doesn't work with the S Pen, unfortunately. When it comes to performance and gaming, you would think because the OnePlus Pad is more expensive, it would be more powerful. But here's where things are a little confusing. But surprisingly, when you compare the benchmark results, they're very similar. In fact, the Tab A11 Plus is actually better in multi-core score and GPU performance. I think both of these are good for gaming or multitasking, and it may just come down to which aspect ratio you prefer. I feel like Samsung's probably a little more comfortable when gaming or just holding for a longer period of time. Plus, Samsung's a little bit lighter as well. But overall, they're pretty similar when it comes to performance, so you really can't go wrong regardless of which one you go with. One advantage with Samsung is you have a headphone jack, which you're not going to get with OnePlus, but both of these have a quad speaker setup and actually sound pretty good in person. I think OnePlus probably has a little better sound quality, but both of these are pretty nice and loud. Here's a quick sample of each, just to give you an idea of how they compare. Now when it comes to cameras, you get a little higher resolution camera on the front of the OnePlus Pad at 8 megapixels versus 5 for Samsung. And then you've got an 8 megapixel camera on the back for both. You can shoot up to 1080p resolution for video recording on both tablets. But here's a quick sample of each just to give you an idea of how they compare. I think as long as you have good lighting, you could probably use either one for Zoom meetings or other video conference calls. If media consumption and display quality is most important to you, then you probably would want to go with the OnePlus Pad Go. If you really just want the best value with best-in-class software support, I think it's going to be pretty tough to beat the Galaxy Tab A11 Plus, especially considering its price. But if you like tablets, phones, and other tech, I'm trying to get out 3 videos per week, so you'll definitely want to keep an eye out for those upcoming videos. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.